hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Give me 1 second, and you should be able to see me now. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
I am good, sir. My day went well and it has been going well, so I am good. Thank you so much for asking. What about you?
Fantastic. I like the answer. I really like the answer. And thank you so much for asking how I'm doing. I'm doing great as well. Thanks for asking again.
Glad to hear that. Yes, sir.
Okay, so before we jump ahead, before we go ahead, I'm pretty sure this is our first session, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Is this your first session in English Yari?
No, this is my fifth, sixth session as far as I remember. Fifth
Okay,
or
this
sixth.
this is your sixth session. How was the previous sessions? How did the sessions before this one? How did it go?
The all those session went well. I made lot of mistake during the session and I got to learn lot of things from the session. So it went well, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I like it. I like the attitude already. All right. So, since this is the first time we are meeting, this is the first time we are talking to each other, uh, will it be all right if we just go ahead and do the old school introduction? Can you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, sir, sure. Yes, so my name is Bhola and I am originally from Jharkhand. I live in city called Lohardaga. I
Okay.
was born and raised here in Lohardaga itself. Or if I talk about my academics, so I have done my schooling from plus two Nadia Hindu High School Lohardaga, which is here in Lohardaga itself. Now currently I am pursuing my BA. Or my hobbies, I like playing cricket, watching movie, spending time with my friends. Moreover, I like to visit new places. Nowadays, I am practicing one of the hobby, which is reading book. Sir. That's all about me, sir.
Okay. Okay. Great. 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 So, before I introduce myself, I'm going to pester you with a few questions. Will that be fine? I'm going to ask you a few questions if that's okay. Okay. Great. Great. Great.
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So that was a good introduction, by the way. I got to know a little bit about you. It was quite composed, I would say. Right. So, somebody told you about that. Okay. How did you reach English Yari? How did you learn about English Yari, and what's the driving force behind coming to English Yari?
Okay, so few days I was watching some video on YouTube. Actually, I was not watching. I was listening some podcast on YouTube, and
Okay.
then suddenly I came across one of the video. It was English Yaari. Some tutor they have uploaded some video on English Yaari channel, and they were introducing about themselves,
Mhm.
and then I got to know about English Yari, and then I dive deep into this. Then I saw that there are a lot of learners who are practicing their English speaking practice, and tutor are really friendly here. They
Mhm.
do not judge student while they make mistake. Do not judge the learners mistake when they make mistake, and are the main part I liked here is that they without judging the learners mistake, they correct them. So then I thought it would be good if I join and do practice here. So that's how I got to know about this platform, sir.
Okay. 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 So, have you seen any videos of mine or anything before?
No, sir. No, I have not seen, sir.
Okay, okay. Just making sure of your things. Okay, all right. So thank you so much for telling me all those data because we almost, I mean, you majorly spoke for almost 7 minutes now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of myself, something really, really short and quick. So as you would know, my name is Amal. My name is Dr. Amal Mohan. I'm a medical doctor, right? I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a career counselor. I'm an academic counselor. I might be a little bit of an actor, a little bit of a stand-up comedian, a little bit of a director. So those are a few things about me, and of course, I'm a teacher right here. I'm a soft skills trainer, and also few things. Anyway, not that important. Okay, right here, I'm just your friend. I'm just having a conversation with you. That's it. Now, I'm also going to tell you, I'm going to justify the reasons of, of this long list of questions I was asking you. The idea was not to get the answers. The idea was to actually understand where you stand in terms of English, right? So if you've noticed, I've been speaking faster, I've been speaking slower, I've been placing myself in between. So the reason is I wanted to understand, how can you listen? How good can you listen? Because normally people, when they say, oh, English training, yeah, you have to go, you got to speak. No, you don't start with speaking, you start with listening. So my concept is, if you can listen, like listen to what I say, and if you can process the data, and then you can tell me the answer, which makes sense, then that means you're gonna be amazing. You're gonna be absolutely, I don't know, you're gonna be acing the English communication part. Because I believe communication is the important bit, not English. Because come on, like,
Yes.
there are people who cannot speak, there are people who cannot listen, there are people who cannot see. I think I repeated that one, and who cannot speak. And anyway, there are people who cannot communicate. There are animals as well, but they do communicate. They do communicate in their
Yes.
own way. So language is secondary. Communication is the important bit, right? Now, how will you communicate? How easy that becomes to you? That is where these secondary tools come in. Okay. So from my understanding, you have good listening capacity. You've been, I mean, I know I have a weird accent, but you've been actually capturing all the data pretty well. You have a very, we are meeting for the first time, but you're very comfortable. You're actually smiling. You're making eye contact. That means you're good. You're comfortable speaking with me. So that's a good thing that I've noticed about you. And these things add up. These things definitely add up, because you're actually welcoming me for conversation, right? So yeah, I personally appreciate you for that, right? Keep doing this. It's a very rare quality. We cannot see
Yes.
that often. Okay. Now, about the way you spoke, about the way that you discussed, I'm gonna tell you a few things. Okay. Today, I'm gonna be the
Yes.
one speaking the most. I think you spoke for 6 minutes, but today I'll be the one
Yes. Yes.
speaking the most, because my classes are a
Yes.
little bit different. You can call me a little bit of a crazy professor, but anyway, I am a little different. I know there is
Okay.
a topic that we need to discuss, which is smartphone, but we will not be mostly discussing about smartphone today, because this is the first session, and you're not going anywhere to give a speech on smartphone, are you? Because if you are, then there is
No.
a point in discussion. Yes, if there is, of course, we can do that. But I believe the type of conversation that you want is impromptu. Like, you want to talk to your colleagues, you want to talk to your, you want to negotiate, you want to present. That's what you want. That's what you're here for, and that is what I'm going to train you for. Okay, it you should feel that confidence. You should feel that comfortable nature when you just go ahead and speak with your colleagues or anybody over there. Maybe you want to ask out a girl, anybody, anything at all. So at that point, you should be able to be, I don't know, like, freely express your feelings or whatsoever, your ideas. So as long as you have great flow of ideas, you should be able to communicate that bit. Okay. Now let's get into technicality. First of all, there are different kinds of speakers. Okay. There are people who want to speak in an aesthetic fashion, right? And there are people who really, really, really focus on just conversation, right? Establishing the facts, factual speakers. Now, what is the difference between them? So when it comes to speakers, technicality, okay, technicality of speakers, aesthetic speakers, of course, they have this public speaking attitude. They have this special nature when they have the body language, the voice modulation, the eye contact. All these things matters. Of course, the other speakers obviously need them, but when it comes to general speakers, when it comes to speakers who just want to convey their ideas, then these things can be a little bit, dialed down. Like, it doesn't have to be that spot on, right? But fluency is something that we need in both cases, right? But what is fluency? I'm going to ask you this question. Well, according to you, what is fluency?
According to my point of view, when you are able to convey your message to other person whom you are communicating with and the person who is not feeling any disturb, who is not facing any trouble or difficulty to understand you, and the person who can understand you clearly without any problem, any disturbance.
Okay, good. That means there is less interruption. That's what you meant, which is partially correct. Which is partially correct, because it's better not to have too many interruptions. But I have to disagree at certain things, because most people believe um, speaking faster means fluency. That means you're fluent. No, that is not the reality. I'll give you an example. I always does this. I think this is gonna be a cliche, but since it's your first time, then it's not gonna be a problem. By the way, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna give you the steps. I'm gonna give you the toolkit that you have to carry all along. It's not a destination. It's not a journey, right? This is something you have to
Yes.
carry along with your journey, and these things you have to apply wherever you go. Like, here, another platform, your friend, wherever you speak, you need to carry those things. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you all the data today because I'll be overwhelming, but I'll be telling you a little bit of data that you need to work on. That's the only thing I'll be focusing on today. And moving forward, you will be the one speaking more. I will be speaking less. I guarantee that. Only today I'll be speaking more because I have to give you that data. Okay.
Yes,
Moving
yes,
forward, I'll only
yes.
remind you, hey, I told you this. You are supposed to do this. That's all. Right. Okay. Now, the example. Let's say I'm just, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you where I am from. I'm originally from Kerala, right? I'm all the way down south. I'm in the south of India, and the city is called Thiruvananthapuram. Okay. Yeah. So if I just go ahead and, I'm just going to speak like this. Hey, my name is Amal. I'm 24 years of age. I'm from Kerala. I'm from Trivandrum. I'm a doctor. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. If I just go like this, I'm speaking faster. Of course, I'm speaking faster, but am I fluent? Yeah, you can say I'm fluent, but that is not right because
Yeah.
you will not be able to remember anything. There is no point in, if you're just speaking, nobody is focusing anything on what you say, or nobody's understanding what you're saying. There is no cementing, there is no establishment of points, right? So when you do,
Yes.
I'm gonna speak the very same thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the same thing but in a different manner. Hi, my name is Amu. I'm 24 years of age. I'm originally from Kerala. I'm talking to you from the city of Thiruvananthapuram. I'm a doctor. I'm an entrepreneur. If I just go on like this, you're actually listening to my words. But did I
Yes.
make interruptions? Did I make pauses? Yes, I did. So the idea of fluency is rhythm. So when you speak in Hindi, when you speak in whichever native tongue that you speak, you have a natural rhythm. You speak in such a way, you have a natural rhythm. So getting such a natural rhythm in English, that is where I call it fluency because you're comfortable. You're comfortable, right? Now, the second thing is most people cannot speak in English fluently, not because they don't really have the, I don't know, like the charge or inspiration or knowledge, because everybody understands grammar. And I mean, it's been taught from school, but we don't really have the environment to actually use it. Actually talk in English or just actually hear English. Most probably we'll be just sticking to our mother tongue. We'll be in our home. Nobody's going to speak in English and all. So that is a reason. That's one of the major reasons. And that is something I've noticed in you as well. For you, you can actually speak in English. You do have vocabulary. It's not too bad. But the problem is you're not actually present in a situation. You're not actually in a scenario where you can speak and hear English all the time. So first recommendation from my end, the first thing that you need to do, you're supposed to place yourself in an environment where you can speak in English. Now, how is that possible? You cannot just go to States and you cannot settle there. So how can we do it, right? So that is another peculiarity about my classes. So I don't simply say what is wrong or what can be improved. I'd say how it can be improved as well. Okay? Kya karna hai or kaise karna hai, right? That's the thing. That's the idea behind it. So
Yes.
here, what you can do is I'm for I mean, you're familiar with the channel National Geographic, right? Okay, so
Yes.
it's a YouTube channel, and I want you to spend 30 minutes every day on that channel. 30 minutes
Okay.
every single day on English narration from the channel, from the YouTube channel National Geographic. Okay, you can easily find it. 30 minutes every single day. And this 30 minutes should be before or after your session at English Yaari. Okay, before or after
Yes.
your
Yes.
session.
Sure.
Just 30 minutes, but every single day. That is the first step. That is a 50% because there it's a narration, it's a narrative channel, it's an explanatory channel. So you will be able to see a lot of words, a lot of usages, a lot of phrases, a lot of idioms, correct grammatical tenses, usage of grammar, all of this. So practically, and also you're reading books. So that's another thing that's going to benefit you. But reading books and pronunciation is not connected. If you have to get the right pronunciation, then it is imperative that you actually listen to them speaking. And again, it is not a general speaking category. It's not technically, pronunciation is not, it's subjective. So if somebody just go ahead and say, I'm not going against, I'm not blaming anybody, but I don't think pronunciation is the first thing that we need to fix. That's one among the last things, because aesthetic speakers, if you want to have an accent,
Yes.
that is where pronunciation comes in. So you can say potato or potato. Okay, you can say potato or
Yes.
potato. Okay, you can say tomato or tomato. You can say opportunity or opportunity. You can do that. You can say
Yes.
opportunity. So it's completely subjective. There is Indian accent, there's Australian accent, there's British accent, there's American accent, there's New Zealand accent. You name it. There are tons of accents, and as long as you can spell it, you can actually read something out. That is an accent, right? So you don't really have to get a British accent. That's an aesthetic thing. So do not focus on pronunciation right now. Focus on getting the right vocabulary in a good flow. Now, how do we do it? I already told you. So the reason I told you to watch this 30 minutes every single day and then another spend
Yes, ma'am.
another 20 minutes here is because in that way you'll be able to get a lot of data and you're actually establishing a database. You're not by hurting anything. When you buy her things, you'll have to remember, oh, I have to use this now. I have to use this here. I have to use. No, that's not going
Yes.
to happen. Rather, you'll just keep a dictionary. You can just buy her a dictionary. It's pointless. What you do is you're listening to all these data on every single day. And when you actually get into a conversation, then automatically it's going to come to you without any effort. Automatically it's going to come
Yes.
to you. We are just making automated. We are like installing ChatGPT in your mind. That's what we are doing.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the first thing. Now the second thing is, of course, practice. Speaking practice, it's imperative. That's something you need to do. So you're getting the database. So just installing the database, it's okay. We are installing an app in a phone. We have to use it, right? So
Yes.
that's what you do in English Yaari. You come here, you speak, and when you speak, you'll naturally see how you're improving. Okay, and there's gonna be minor corrections here and there, and that I or some other tutor that your tutor of your choice. I know I'm a little bit crazy. I am doing things in a little bit different. So if you choose to
No,
speak with
sir.
me anymore, if you choose to speak with me anymore, then what I'll do is I'll correct you. And there are tons of other tutors, experienced tutors, who will be able to do the same thing to you. But the first thing that you need to focus on, place yourself in the environment where you can speak in English. And the second thing is practice English in such a way. Now, how can you place yourself in that environment? You watch National Geographic every single day for 30 minutes. And this 30 minutes should be just before or after the session at English Yaari. So with this protocol, you will be able to. And by the way, you can turn the subtitles off for first 3 weeks. You can turn the subtitles on for first 3 weeks, and then you have to turn it off. Okay. Moving forward, there are other methods that you can do. But today, I think we are almost hitting